Hello, my friends and fellow VEDS, and we are in the top 10. 10, yes. Let's get started. Number 10, Black Panther. This movie is super awesome and super important and has some really cool shit. Like, it's not unfair when people compare it to Lord of the Rings. It has some moments that are that fucking awesome. And these characters are fucking awesome. I love Shuri so much. Words can't express. M'Baku is one of my favorite characters in the MCU. Michael B. Jordan's acting is fantastic. There's so many gorgeous moments in this film. But at the same time, please don't hate me for this. I feel like it could have been even better. Like, even better than it already is. For starters, I don't think it's unreasonable to say that I wanted a little more Claw. Now, I know the story's not about him. It's about T'Challa and Killmonger and how Killmonger affects T'Challa. But I wanted one more scene of Andy Serkis. It was just so good and so funny, and it didn't have to be much. It could have literally been like a minute more of screen time and I would have been satisfied. I would have been completely satisfied. I just wanted a little more. And the other thing I wanted more of was heart-to-heart moments between the characters. One of my favorite Black Panther scenes technically isn't in Black Panther, which means it's not a Black Panther scene, but hear me out. It's a scene that goes right before the UN scene, and it's Martin Friedman's character, the CIA agent, and T'Challa and Okoye, and it's before T'Challa announces everything to the whole world. And Martin Friedman tries to wish him good luck in the native language, but he messes it up, and Okoye's smirking, and it's just this really cute little scene. And I love it! I love seeing them acting like people. That's part of why so many people love the scene in the beginning with T'Challa and Shuri, because they're acting like people in an epic story. And really, that's what I wanted more of. I wanted more of the humanity of these characters. I knew they were epic. I just wanted more humanity out of them. Especially Okoye and W'Kabi, because you could 100% cut out that they were married and have no major effect on the story except for that one badass line. So yeah, I wish there was a little more heart and a little more Andy Serkis. But those are still pretty decent complaints to be having. I wanted more of something you were giving me because I liked it. Number 9, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Again, twists. There were some, but there weren't really. I mean, all you had to do was look at the cast list to figure out basically every twist in Winter Soldier. Which I get most people won't be doing, but your diehard Marvel fans will be. And it's a great spy thriller. The action is awesome. The dynamics are awesome. The mystery is predictable if you know who's in it, but still awesome. The comedy's fun. The drama is so interesting and intriguing. I'm just not a spy person that much. Like, it's intriguing, but only for a little. If you're going to do a spy movie, I prefer a spy comedy. And this really isn't the movie's fault. It doesn't want to be a spy comedy. It doesn't really try to be a spy comedy. And I don't think it being a spy comedy would have worked. but it just means that personally I don't love it as much as other people, and that's totally fine. Also, that Peggy Carter scene, that fucking Peggy Carter scene, God, that hurts like fucking hell. Number 8, Thor. If you had tried to start off by doing Thor Ragnarok style Thor, I don't think it would have worked. You needed to have the Guardians in place before you could have done that. But there's no way you could have done a Guardians movie before you did a Thor movie. So I think that choosing Gilderoy Lockhart, we'll just go with that, was probably the best choice to make at this point in the MCU. And it was a super fun movie, for me at least. It was another epic high fantasy, just this time it was in space. You really had some gorgeous scenery, some gorgeous costumes, some really fun, subtle acting, and some real cool action out of the Asgardians. And unlike a lot of movies, the fish out of water stuff wasn't obnoxious. And this was Tom Hiddleston's movie to shine in. I still stand behind that this was his best performance in the MCU. I still get emotional watching his performance in this every time I watch it. So yeah, it's gorgeous, it's entertaining, it has cool action, fun comedy, some heartfelt drama. It's a good epic movie. Number 7, Guardians of the Galaxy. The fact that Marvel had the balls to do this movie at all is impressive. And they did a really great job with this. There were interesting characters, interesting sets, an interesting universe, cool music, sweet costumes. But it fell in the way that so many Marvel movies fall. Yes, it has a boring ass villain. And the fact that he's Ned the Pie Maker can only go so far. And so it just, if you had a better villain, it makes your heroes more interesting. Which is why this movie isn't as high as you would expect, because I want a better villain, because it contrasts the heroes and you can do so much, and I love these characters, but I'd love them more if they were fighting someone interesting. Number 6, Thor Ragnarok. Okay, for starters, if you ever want to get pumped up, listen to the song that they used in the trailers. Not the immigrant song, but In the Face of Evil by Magic Sword. It's such a fucking bop. My theater department used it as part of the soundtrack when we did King Henry VI Part 1, and it is so cool. But aside from music that they used in the trailer, this is a fun movie. It's really funny. It has great side characters. I mean, the Grandmaster, Valkyrie, Korg. There's some really fun new characters. Hela sometimes gets some flack as being a boring villain, but I find her just interesting enough. The dynamic between Thor and Bruce is so fun and so interesting, and I kinda ship it. My main issue with the film is that it's too funny. And I understand it's comedy, that really shouldn't be the problem, but so much dramatic shit happens, and so it just feels odd to have so many laughs when so many emotional things are happening. Like, if you compare Frigga's death in Thor 2 with Odin's death in Thor 3, what the fuck? That does not make sense at all. So I think there are two ways this could have been fixed. Either implementing just a tiny bit more drama, or there's a theory going around that if they had used, I think would have made the film work and actually have been a really interesting look into Thor's character. The theory is basically that Thor is telling the story of what happened to the Asgardian refugees pre-Infinity War, and that he is hamming it up and being goofy because this is a traumatized group of people and he wants to make them feel better. Not only does this play into how he acts in Infinity War, but also it's an interesting look at storytelling and the purposes of storytelling, and also how we handle trauma. And I think that would have made the movie a lot less jarring, because instead of it being Thor barely caring about his dad's death, it would be Thor hiding that he cares because other people have lost stuff too, and it's his job to make them feel better. But yeah, that is numbers 10 through 6. Soon we'll get to the top 5. I'll see you soon.